Andy Murray's considered a part of the Big Four because of his exceptional career, which in any other era would have resulted in many more titles. Unfortunately, he played when the greatest three tennis players of all time were playing, yet he managed to give them a tough time and win multiple majors and other big tournaments against them. So what are his plans for 2023? Can he go deep into a major again? Let's find out. Starting with Andy Murray's comments about 2023. Andy Murray's talent has always been obvious, but for the last few years, he's struggled to bring his best to the tennis court. Injuries can truly destroy careers, and unfortunately, Murray joins the growing list of players whose careers were cut short due to recurring injuries. But while many considered that his career was pretty much over, Murray remarkably came back with a bang. There were signs of improvement throughout his year, and Murray mentioned how he had noticed the change in himself. The 35-year-old explained on the latest episode of the ATP Radio's podcast that he compared the beginning of the season, when he was ranked at 135, to the long way he's since come. He explained that getting in the top 50 showcases that he's back for good. Murray wasn't overly made up with his performances, but still managed to see the positive sides. Of course, once you've been at the top of the rankings, it's hard to be content with just a top 50 finish. So it remains a bittersweet moment for the Brit, and he added that he would have liked to have done even better, but it just wasn't meant to be, and as he didn't play his best tennis, it was just an okay year for him. Murray also pointed out how he isn't letting a disappointing campaign define his coming season. He wants to keep progressing, and said that while he has progressed a lot from where he was, there are even higher ceilings that he wants to break. After that, more from Murray. The three-time major winner had an average season by his standards, going 26-19 for the entire year, and managed to make it to two finals, in Sydney and Stuttgart. While the cup runs were decent, the former Wimbledon champion couldn't leave his mark in the Grand Slams, with a third-round finish at the US Open being his best effort in the three majors that he participated in. The 35-year-old also said that he will revisit his plans after seeing his progress in 2023. If things go well, he'll want to keep on playing and maybe put together another fairy tale run in the twilight of his career, but if things don't keep improving, then he'll have to look at things. That's understandable. Murray was very close to giving up on tennis altogether. We're very blessed to have seen him play at the highest level once again, despite his massive injury. The former number one also said that he has big plans for the upcoming season, and he believes that he's all set in the right direction, and that's very exciting to hear about. Anyone who saw Murray at his peak would know that he's not a man who gives up. No matter what the situation is, you can always count on Andy to produce a comeback. This alone remains a major reason why we think that even though the odds are stacked against him, he probably has a surprise up his sleeve. It would be the perfect end to his career if he could win another big title. Also, a look back to younger days. In an effort to revisit his younger days, Murray isn't only spending a lot of time on the court, but he's also doing things the same way he used to do when he was practically unbeatable. In the last few years, Murray decided not to go to Florida, which was something of his off-season routine as he got in the zone for the upcoming season. This year, though, he's decided to bring that all back as he gets in the groove, and maybe Florida is his lucky charm. Who knows? The Brit explained how his trip to Florida is the first one in a while, and pointed out how it's the place where he used to do his off-seasons, putting in some hard work. No one's ever doubted his work ethic, so we're sure he'll be well prepared for the start of the 2023 season. Now, let's look at if Murray can go deep into a major ever again. First of all, any kind of progress should be lauded. Let's not forget that the likes of the Big Three have truly redefined tennis, and it's changed how fans think about the sport. Their longevity and success in the latter part of their careers are truly outrageous, and that's why we feel Murray's progress should be applauded. Everyone believed that the legendary Brit had played the last match of his career 3 years ago, but he surprised everyone when he returned to the tour and enjoyed an average season. This one is probably the sweetest among the many average seasons we've seen because of the context. Murray's injuries have been brutal, and if it was any other player, he'd be sitting in the studios analyzing games rather than playing in them. But then Murray isn't just any other player, he's one of the greatest players of all time, so the big question is, can he mount a decent run in a major again before ending his career? Well, it's extremely tough to say for sure, and we wouldn't advise anyone to bet against him. It's like playing the perfect shot after the ideal trap to deceive Murray, only to lose the point because he will just not give up. One thing we can say for sure though is that he won't be receiving the same heights he reached between 2012 and 2016, but then again, few players ever will. We'll be content with any run that takes takes him to just the second week. Moving on, you could never write Andy off. For someone who has a win against the most dominant version of Roger Federer, Andy Murray isn't your regular star who you can just write off at will. He's the same athlete who won 6 of his first 8 meetings with Federer, and they came when Federer was at the peak of his powers. Murray's also the same player who enjoyed his peak when Djokovic was playing at a level few have replicated, so Murray has things in his locker that few other stars do. So even though he has a metal hip, Andy's not someone you can count out, and that's why we wouldn't be brave enough to say that he can't make another deep run in the majors. The legend has struggled quite a bit due to this injury, and while he hasn't made it past the 3rd round of any majors since, Andy's playing at a level we haven't seen since his injury in 2019. So this upcoming year might be his best shot at making a deep run. That's because age is also catching up with him, and he'll be 36 in mid-2023, which means there isn't a lot left in his tank beyond the next couple of years. Injuries have already started to set in, and he's not someone who got lucky with injuries during the course of his career either. With retirement probably in sight, there's a chance we could see the best version of Murray in 2023 since his pre-2016 days. And with a bit of luck in the draw, anything is possible. Up next, where can Murray put together a good run? This is the big question, isn't it? With the Australian Open set to begin in around a month, where would Murray be fancying his chances in 2023? The 5-time finalist of the Australian Open would hope to put together another run in 2023, and while winning the slam might be a bit too much, he would definitely want to surprise a few when he gets in the groove. But for us, Murray's best shot remains in Wimbledon. That's the slam where he has a major shout because of a lack of decent grass players on tour. Novak Djokovic pretty much steamrolled everyone to cruise through to the final, and while Murray might not be playing at his best, he's definitely a better grass court player than most youngsters on the tour. So if we're Andy, we're looking at Wimbledon with a lot of interest. After all, that is the place where he won the biggest prize 2 times in his career, and with the crowd on his side, center court can be a pretty wild place with miracles waiting to happen. At the same time though, the US Open is one of those tournaments where Murray has experienced success, so he could potentially go all for that one too, especially if it doesn't work out for him in the earlier slams of 2023. And if we're Murray, we're probably sitting out the French Open because it's not the kindest of slams, and he wouldn't want to put extra pressure on that metal hip or even his knees. Ending with Murray playing in the Battle of the Brits. Jamie Murray is responsible for organizing the Battle of the Brits, and he'll be bringing the All-Star Britain player, including Andy Murray, under one roof in Aberdeen. It's a competition that takes place between the top players of Scotland and the top players of England, and it's a tournament created by the Murray brother back in 2020. The likes of the Murray brothers, Aidan McHugh, and Johnny O'Mara make up Team Scotland, while Team England has the quartet of Dan Evans, Jack Draper, Paul Jubb, Joe Salisbury, and Neil Skupski. 6 matches are set to take place in total, with 2 singles on day 1 followed by a double, and then singles match on day 2 followed by singles before a concluding showdown between the Murray brothers and Salisbury-Skupski. It's a decent rivalry, and gives the Scottish people a chance to rub the faces of their rivals in the dirt to point out the hypocrisy of making Murray a Brit every time he wins a major trophy, and calling him Scottish every time he loses a big trophy. But most important of all, it gives the people of Scotland a chance to experience the highest level of tennis. And that's going to be a wrap for this video, my friends. Do you think Andy has what it takes to win another major? Let us know in the comments below. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.